Previously on Onboard Lifestyle. Basik traveled 355.7 nautical miles in 72 hours, leaving Mexico, passing Guatemala, El Salvador, and Honduras before landing in Nicaragua. The passage was 2 days of boredom and 1 day of excitement.
Doesn't seem like it's letting up.
After sitting in Chiapas for months, then going through a washing machine, the poor engine developed a bit of a fuel issue.
There's an obstruction in the line.
As Basik limped into Puesta del Sol. Let's continue our story as the crew must chase down our new gremlin.
There's so many ways to be happy. You can do whatever you like. You don't have to be ready. You just gotta trust the right. Don't have to be scary. You just gotta follow the light. You're able to be happy. You can do whatever you like.
We have now been in Nicaragua for 24 hours, just about. We got here yesterday, and it has been quite the day. I cleaned all the outside. Emma and I washed the boat. There was a ton of sea salt everywhere, and of course, the boat was just kind of tossed around a little bit, and so we got that straightened out for the most part, and Teal is now troubleshooting, trying to figure out what is going on with our fuel system. So right now he is siphoning out all of our fuel, and we might have something, I don't know if it's dirty fuel or what.
No, I know exactly what it is.
Okay.
Well, this engine, first of all, didn't overheat. We've fixed that problem.
Thank you for the new,
yeah.
Thanks to the new elbow mixers from HDI Marine.
Yep.
That's good.
It works perfect. We were having a fuel problem this time. And this, we had a little hiccup, about 6-8 months ago. This happened once again, where all of a sudden this engine just kind of started chugging down, and just died. And I reprimed it and it ran. So it happened before, but I have narrowed it down now. I put a little squeeze bulb on the inline of the engine, and I can prime the engine, but what happens is as soon as it dies, I loosen up the Raycor cap, and pressure is built up in there. It's like there's an obstruction somewhere between the pump bulb and the tank. And what's happening is I could back pressure it, get it clear, and it could run 10 minutes, it could run in 2 hours. And that happened on this last passage. We had to reprime this thing 14 times during all that wind and event. So I'm gonna fix this. First thing I'm doing is emptying the tanks. And I know there's an obstruction because I'm using my auxiliary pump to empty the tanks, and it's still doing the same thing. My prime bulb is squished flat. So that means there's an obstruction somewhere.
And from the sounds of the pump, it's working extra hard.
Yeah, it is. And so I'm going to get as much fuel out of this tank as I can, open up the tanks, and inspect it.
Open up the tanks? How are you going to open up the tank?
Well, I got to cut some holes. I'll cut a hole in the floor, put a deck plate over it, and then go in.
A bigger one, right?
Yeah, a bigger one. I need some more room. And it's either the pickup tube. Well, I'll inspect the pickup tube first, and I'm hopeful that when I pull that out, there's a glump of something stuck in it, because that's what it's acting like.
Well, we've also never done a biocide.
I know. It could be a big, could be growth in there. We don't know.
And this sat for, let's see,
a dozen years without being used at one point?
No, I'm just saying this past year.
Oh yeah, that was a
we didn't really use this
engine
at
all
for, I'd have to say, 8 months.
Yeah, we've been using the other one.
So because of the heat thing, we thought, and then also, I mean,
could be a big growth in there. I don't know. It's going to be interesting. We'll get that as soon as I get these tanks empty, which I'm getting there. This
calls for maybe like a fuel polishing kind of device that you can.
Well, that's what we're making, a fuel polisher. Yeah. So what I'm going to do is pump these out, inspect it, clean out the tank, and then we're going to use a Baja filter and just keep transferring this in and out until we're happy with the clarity.
I know, but we have to figure out, it's not just the fuel, it's also what's in the tank.
No, I know. And I could see, like, every tank that I pull out, I could look in there, and I'm not seeing anything. So I'm not saying there's nothing in our tank, but right now, it looks good.
But how do we clean the tank?
Well, that's a whole nother story. But I don't know. It's a good thing to do anyway. So.
Yeah, because that's what we want to do.
And, what, you want to go exploring?
Have fuel, diesel smells everywhere.
It's not so bad in here. Windows are all open.
I can smell it.
Okay, sorry.
All right, so you've done 2.
This is the third one.
10, so it's 15 gallons.
There's about 25 gallons in here, so another couple hours I'll have this all empty.
I think it was almost full.
It's slow. Yeah, it was. It's slow going because this big 3/4 tube. See that?
Oh yeah, there's a problem.
No, it isn't. It's a 1/4 inch feed that comes into this, or a 3/16 feed. So it's a small feed for our engine.
I know, but that looks like a trickle.
That's all this. Look at, we got a little teeny hose coming. Just the pump. This is the only hose I could get on the pump. I didn't have an adapter, so it's running smooth, with the exception of this obstruction. Sit.
I think Compass is happy that we're not in those crazy conditions.
He was a little nervous.
He did so good. He didn't get seasick. He just could not. No, he didn't sleep at all.
He couldn't get comfortable.
Every time there was a slam, which was every 2 seconds, he would look up like, "What's going on?"
Meanwhile, taking a break.
A little breather.
Yeah. Got all the fuel out of the tank. We have a 35-gallon tank over there, and I pulled 27 gallons out. I've marked them with blue because I'm going to run these through a filter. Once I get
keep filtering.
Yeah, well, I'm going to inspect the tank now that it's empty. We'll do that tomorrow because I need to find a way to gain access to the tank.
Well, that and it's Emma's stateroom, and
I know.
we're trying to air it out right now because of all the diesel that.
Yeah.
Not like you spilled any.
No, I didn't.
It just smells.
It's not that bad. Come on.
Yeah, but she likes to close everything up because she's afraid of bugs.
Actually, so far, no bugs. Yeah. So, but besides that, yeah, tomorrow is break open the tank and see what's going on inside of it. I'm hoping something is going on inside of it because it'll explain our situation of why we kept choking the engine out.
We need an easy fix. Plus, we have a couple days to kill because the papagayos are crazy right now.
Yeah, we have like 7 to 9 days right in there to get. That's about to get out of here. So I know that it is a clog for a reason, because our engine was starving trying to lift the fuel out of the tank, and so was my transfer pump. My transfer pump I fought getting all this out. So there is some obstruction. That's comforting because that could be fixed here in a remote place.
Always with the plates.
Hey, plates are the best tool in the kitchen.
That belongs in the kitchen, in the galley.
Okay.
I see that we had a little issue with the struts.
Yeah, the other night when we were in those rough sea states and I was sitting there back priming our tank to get fuel to the engine. A little wave hit us. I fell against this and actually broke both our struts off.
I don't think they're little waves.
Yeah, they were significant.
They're pretty massive.
We did okay, but now rather than just relying on little screws, I'm going to through bolt this and do it right. But before we get started on the next project, which is diving into that fuel tank. A sigh.
Okay, get back on it.
I am. This one won't take long at all. I have all the stuff here. Well, now that that's done, my next challenge is that our fuel tank is underneath the floor here. I did pop in a little access plate just to kind of see everything, but this is not going to be big enough to get into it. So what I think I need to do is open this up, and I'll put a bigger deck plate in here. That way I can reach, this is the pickup tube here, and I've also got the level sensor right here. I think between the two, I'll be able to get into the tank and see what's going on. So first thing is cutting a larger hole with an existing hole.
Which is hard.
Yeah, well, I know how to do it. I take a piece of scrap something like this, and I'll drill the hole in this where I need this. Then I'll be able to push this up with some key marks and use this as my template to push the hole saw through. That way I don't need a center bit, because I don't want a center bit going through our tank, and the center bit will be right in here somewhere when there's nothing for it to bite on. And it's all finished floor, so this will be
Easy peasy.
easy. It's not difficult, but I want to make it look pretty, so
Okay.
that's the next stage. And then here's my little pickup tube. I think this is where our problem is. And see, I don't have quite enough room here and clearance to get this out and this out. So I'm trying to avoid cutting this whole thing. We'll start with a larger deck plate and see what happens.
Okay. Sounds simple.
Simple.
This could be done in an afternoon.
Yeah, well, my goal is to just get the hole cut today and get the plate fit. Then I'll take the trim ring out. It'll give me a little more clearance so I can start working on that. And we'll probably dive into these two first thing in the morning. But let's get this hole cut first. Okay, there's my much larger deck plate. But what I'm going to do is shave off the end here to get a little tighter to the wall. By doing that, it'll give me just a bit more access in here. So, quick little sanding. Looks not too bad, huh?
Looks good. Nice and back beveled.
Yep. Got that little bit of radius right there on the wall, so I think that'll work. I'll go see how that... Do you mind?
Not at all.
Sorry. Your cockpit looked so clean a minute ago. Okay, look at that. That's gonna fit nicely. So now I need to slide this back and forth, because I need to have enough room when I cut this hole to get those two clamps off, and also to get all the screws for our sensor off. And actually that looks real good right there. So what I'll do is make a couple reference marks. On the wall here. Because what I'll do now, this is the board I'm going to use. I can take those marks now, transfer them to here. Put my plate down. And that's my hole.
Easy peasy.
Yeah. Okay, I think I'm all set now. Here's my new template. I put a little 1/8" spacer here to accommodate for the radius on the wall. Brings it off just a touch. Got it wedged in place. Important to take the center bit off, because I don't need that anymore. I don't want to punch through our tank. And this is what we're going through. Our floors are 1/2" Nidacore with a glass overlay with that vinyl floor on top. What I'm going to do is just drill the hole first, then I'm going to carve the vinyl floor to sink that plate down in just a little bit more. So yeah, should go pretty smooth now. Don't have to think much, I just got to do it. Look at that. I'm going to stand on this to put some pressure. Taking my time here. I do not want to scratch that tank. There it goes. Okay, it made a nice clean cut. See how this fits in here. Oh, look at that. I think that's pretty snug. So now what I need to do is just carve this out and inlay this, just to drop this down. I don't want a little tripping hazard here. So by getting that the vinyl cut back, it'll drop it another 1/8 of an inch. But at least, oh man. Ooh. It was a perfect fit. Okay, I'm happy. That's good. Okay. I started with easy way, or the easy part. And that is scoring this vinyl. This I need to remove. It's cutting away this glass that'll be a little trickier. Let's see, I just scored this so it should come right off. Look at that. Okay. Missed a little spot. Looks good. Now, find a way to carve that out. Well, what I've ended up doing was just going old school woodworking tools. Sharp chisel, a razor, and a hammer. And felt kind of like I was mortising in a lock set in a finished door. Just kind of carve my way in. I'm halfway through with this one now. Work my way around and just take my time. Well, that looks pretty good. Okay, that was my first attempt right there. Let's see if I need to do any additional. Line that up. Oh, no I don't. Look at that. That just fits right in perfect. Much smoother transition there. Yeah, it looks good. A little plate on the top. Make sure this fits. Then we'll screw it in place. There we go. Well, I'm a little nervous.
Don't be. It's better to know than to not know.
Well, I'm curious, how is this sensor being held in? Is there nuts on the backside? Is it tapped into the tank? Am I going to be dropping everything into the tank?
I don't know.
Neither do I.
We'll find out. I think maybe it's glued onto the other backside.
What, the nuts are?
I don't know.
Neither do I. Well, at least we have access to it now.
Yeah, it looks nice.
Everything kind of drops to the inside of the tank right here. We'll have to find a way to get it out. Okay, here it goes. Here goes the sensor. Let's see.
Oh, nice and simple. Ish. Let's try.
I don't know. What am I looking at? Oh, good. They're tapped in. There. Now let me get a light and camera in here and see what we got.
What do you see?
I see a clump of something right on the pickup tube. That's our problem right there.
Yes.
So how do we get the pickup tube out of there? No clue. Okay, it looks like it's...
We just have to suction it out then.
Maybe if I
right?
take this off, I can unthread it
Can
out.
you see it? Oh, yeah, I see it.
Yeah. See all that stuff down there?
Uh-huh.
You should see the big glump over here. That's definitely our problem. Here, over here. Can you see it from here? See it? See, there's the pickup tube.
Mm-hmm.
And there's like a big growth, bacterial growth. I don't know. Definitely something. We got to get that out of there.
Okay,
That's
but
our problem.
otherwise everything else looks pretty clean.
Yeah. Okay, stop.
It's a bit of a workout, actually.
Actually, I was able to suck those right up.
Nice.
Yeah?
But there's another one over here. Hang on.
Okay.
I don't know how many are in here yet. We're gonna. Okay, go ahead and do it again.
Okay.
Hey, this came in handy, right?
Yeah, this works awesome. Okay, starting to make some progress. What we're gonna do next, as I put this little squeeze bulb. Ooh, son of a. I'll need some napkins. Okay, let's try this again. Take two. Trying to be all
Trying to be all cool.
trying to be all cool, not make a mess, but
I see the stuff that's going around the pickup tube.
okay, so here. So what I'm gonna do is I've turned this bulb around. I'm gonna try to back pressure the tank with the bulb, and you tell me, look down there with the flashlight and see if anything comes out of the pickup tube.
I see it already.
Okay, I know, but keep an eye on it when I start pumping.
Okay. It flaps back. That's the thing. So the growth is
Inside the tube.
no, it's not inside the tube, it's wrapped around it.
Okay, hang on. I'm still squeezing. I'm gonna do a big burst.
Nope, I see it, Theo. We're gonna have to get some like tweezers and pull it off.
Are you able to get any of it?
Probably. Oh, I think I got it. I got it.
Feeling real good about the tank now. We're able to get a good visual, suck up all the debris that was in there, and feel pretty confident that we got most of it. But we still got a couple things to do. Gonna replace all the inline filters, get a new rate core in, new one on the engine itself, and then as we put the diesel back in, we're gonna use a Baja filter and just keep filtering this till it's nice and clean. You feel good about that, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, you were the last one to look in there. What did you see?
Clean.
Clean, good.
Ish.
This is all the fuel we took out. I marked the handles with blue tape. Just ran the first one through our new system here. We're running a Raycor filter, dumping the fuel in, and trying to pre-filter this before we put it back in the tank to see if we get any particulates out of it or any clumps of anything.
We're just gonna do a double filter just in case. So
this is our first filter. We run it into the jerry can, and we filter it again going into the tank. And hopefully that gets it. We're also going to be adding a biocide. That was definitely some sort of bacterial growth happening in there, and we'll just use a little preventative maintenance on the tanks to hopefully shock it and stop that from happening again.
Okay, let's do this.
Oh. So impatient.
We have so many to do.
Oh, I don't want to take a few minutes. Okay, let's do one. Okay. Take the tape off. The first splash is the hardest.
Not with me here. Whoa!
place I get fuel here in Nicaragua. We do have a fuel dock, but it has been out of commission for a couple years. So I'm going with another cruiser. We're hiring a driver to take us to the nearest gas station, about a 2-hour round trip. So we got our jerry cans all lined up. We need to make sure we have fuel for the next leg. We got a couple 100 miles to go, and we don't know when we'll see fuel again, so this is a good opportunity to do it.
Oh, okay. ¿Cómo se llama?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir. Yeah. Oh, okay. Oh, camino al viejo. El viejo.
We're on our way to get some diesel.
Yes, sir.
Beautiful countryside.
Thanks for watching this week's episode of Onboard Lifestyle. A special thanks goes out to our amazing patrons whose generous support drives the production of our videos. Join our crew if you can. It feels good to diagnose an issue, form a game plan, and resolve it. This crew is firing on all cylinders as we look forward to the next week in Nicaragua. Come back next week to see what we find. See you then!